talk show host, Dancing with the Stars, mayor, game show host. You certainly live a full life, huh?
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I just keep looking for jobs, and maybe I'll find one that I can do. But it's just been it's been a dream life. I can't explain it. I don't have any particular talent, and yet I get a relatively successful career in show business, and it's no one in high school or college or law school would have picked me out to be an entertainer. And so I recognize that it's pure luck, and I'm happy with it.
Great. So of all the careers so far, what was the toughest?
Well, the best job I ever had was being mayor of Cincinnati, and that obviously was the most difficult as well, because that was the most important. Show business is just fun, but if you have a bad show one day, big deal. You just move on to the next day. When you're running a city, obviously you're impacting people's lives, so that's obviously more important and much more pressure. So I always tell people that I'm not really working. I'm in show business, and there's just such a big difference. So my passion still remains politics and public issues. That's what I really care about. But I never wanted to make my living in politics. I treat my political views as like a religion. It's something I really believe in, but I'm not in it to make a profit. Business is, you're in it to make money.
Sure. I mean, so what's your take on the whole presidential race?
Well, I'm biased. I love President Obama. I think it's not too much to say he literally saved us when we were just about going down the tubes when he first took office.
So why not mix your entertainment and your political things to be, a great, whether it's a radio host or whatever that may be?
Yeah, well, I don't do any politics on my show because you can't. I mean, it wouldn't be taken seriously. So obviously I'm not allowed to do that. I'm hired to host a show about craziness, about dysfunction and stuff like that. But I'd love to have a political show, but someone has to hire you to do that.
Right.
And so it isn't, that isn't my decision.
Have you looked into that? I mean, have you tried? Have you?
Well, they've over the years, people have talked to me about it, but it means stopping everything else.
Right.
And I've never been in a position, whether it's contractual or whatever, just to suddenly walk away from all the other things I do to just do one show.
Right.
So it's never been. I got real close, and a few years ago, into running for the U.S. Senate, and then for governor of Ohio. Mm-hmm. So I got close on that, but I never could quite pull the trigger. So I did talk radio. I did Air America for 2 years. But then, that was the end of Air America afterwards. So that made it difficult.
So how did the Price is Right gig come up? I know you've done it before, correct?
Yes, I did 7-8 weeks or something in Vegas, and then this summer I did 3 weeks in Vancouver, and now I'm going to do 6 weeks or more in Atlantic City. I really enjoyed doing that show. I mean, it's so much fun, and I enjoy doing comedy, and it really gives me an opportunity just to, there's no script. I just go out there and tell jokes and play games.
Great. Is it a different kind of show with you attached to it, maybe, than some other host? I mean, what do you bring?
Well, I think, I don't think I'm viewed as the traditional type of host, but there's probably more comedy when I do it. What it is, it's an opportunity to interview and have fun with the contestants. And, oh, by the way, we're winning prizes in the process.
Right.
But it's not, it's much looser. We play all the games you see on television, but, you're not running with a time clock that says, oh my gosh, we got to go to commercial break. So if there are funny moments and, funny contestants, I let it breathe.
Sure.
And so, and it's been, I guess they're real happy because they keep asking me back. So
That's awesome.
I think it's worth it. But it's not, I don't think you'd look at me as your traditional game show host.
So you enjoy that daily interaction with people that...
I love it. I mean, that's what I love about my show. I just love talking to regular people. I'm not real good, I don't feel that comfortable talking with celebrities, but I just love the regular folks in the world, and that's kind of fun to have that interaction.
Will the show include any talk of transvestites or paternity tests?
Well, I have no idea what the sexual orientation of the contestants are. When they say come on down, I have no idea who's coming down. So, no, it won't be that. It's a family-friendly show.
Right.
There's nothing salacious about it at all. No.
So you have the dating game show baggage, too. So did you ever sort of see yourself doing this much in the game show arena?
No. I mean, my life has been a ride where I'm just watching what's happening. It's like I get these calls. We'd like you to do this. I never thought I'd be on Broadway doing the musical Chicago. I mean, that probably was the most far-reaching thing I've ever done in show business. I just get, I guess if you've been on for 22 years, you get to be known and opportunities come your way.
Sure.
And so when there's something that I haven't done before and sounds like it'd be fun, and then I try it. Or Dancing with the Stars, that came out of nowhere.
How was that?
That probably was the first time, except in Ohio, because in Ohio people know me from my politics, but in the rest of the country, I think Dancing with the Stars was the first time most Americans got to see me being me. I mean, it was the first time I ever played myself on television.
Right.
I'm always a character. Either having a crazy talk show or being a news. I was a news anchor for 10 years, or being a commentator or mayor. I mean, there's always a role to play. Well, when you're on a dancing show, there's no role to play. You just got to move your feet and not look too awkward. And that was, talk about being out of your comfort zone. So that really, and so then that, I was like I am at home with my family, and I think that's the first time America said, gee, I guess he is a normal person, and I think that opened a lot of doors, frankly. I didn't realize it at the time.
Right.
But right after that, then I got asked to host America's Got Talent for a couple of years, and that's when Broadway came along, and the West End in England, and just all these other things, baggage, everything happened because of that, I think.
So do you watch America's Got Talent? Do you like Howard on it? Nick Cannon,
I think he's great on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a real talent.
The show's really changed since you've been on it, huh? I mean, when you look at it, it's almost
it was more family, I guess, back then, but that's fine. I mean, it's a nighttime show, so it's probably a little more edgy now. But I think it's a great show. Yeah.
Have you ever been to AC before, Atlantic City? Any?
Yeah, wonderful. The truth is, my dad, we were immigrants, and when we came over, my dad made stuffed animals and was a vendor. And every summer he would take me, we grew up in New York, so he would take me along the Jersey coast to, Asbury Park, Atlantic City, and then the New York beaches to sell his stuffed animals. Mm-hmm. And then he made the animals that, those games of chance when you got to knock down the pins, those were his prizes. So I would spend my summers, it was just the most exciting thing in the world for me to go with my dad to Atlantic City. And so I absolutely vividly remember. But this was back in the 50s.
Right.
So I knew the old Atlantic City. And I've been there a few times since. I was there, I think, with America's Got Talent when we did the national tour.
Right.
So, I've and obviously I've been there since. But I have great childhood memories of growing up on the Jersey coast and the time I spent with, that was like one-on-one time with Dad.
Eating hot dogs on the boardwalk or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, it really was, and just great memories. You go into the ocean with your dad. I mean, that's because both my parents had to work. Mm-hmm. We weren't a family of money at all, and so our summer vacation was me getting to do that. So I would look forward to it every year, and it was just great times.
So 22 years on the show, still fun for you?
I love it. Yeah. I mean, the truth is, because I'm always asked why you still do it. I mean, thankfully I don't need the money anymore. It's fun. I mean, when I compare my job to, most people saying, well, at the end of the day, and you go home and your spouse or your significant other says, what happened at work today? Who's got a better story than me? What else if someone says, oh, we had trouble with the coffee machine, or Joe came over and told a couple of jokes. Yeah, and me, I said, oh, I had this guy who married his horse. I'm always going to have the better story, so it's just a fun job.
That's great. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, I mean, my passion is politics, and I devote one day a week, my entire life, really, adult life, except when I'm on a vacation, doing politics. And I've given one day a week to the Obama campaign, and I travel around, give speeches. And
hey, man, thank you very much for your time, man.
Hey, nice talking with you.
Glad to have you in Atlantic City.
Okay, thanks.
Sure, thanks.
Take it easy. Bye-bye, Scott.